Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Those who are going to be tuning in, watching the replay, whether you're in the greater Toronto area, whether you're in Ottawa, whether you're in the Quinte area, welcome to the Business and Marketing Chat. I am your host, Joshua Edwards. I'm the owner and CEO of OSM, Online Sales and Marketing. And with me today is my very special friend and guest, Bryan Emmerson. He is the owner of Clarity Business Coaching. Now, I know you guys came on here for a reason. I know you joined this episode of Business and Marketing Talk for a reason. You didn't just come on here to see two people talk. You came here because there's an area of your business and your marketing where you need clarity. So this is why we have the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Bryan Emmerson, joining me today to speak to areas of clarity that are going to be beneficial to you and your business. Bryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Josh. And I hope I can live up to the hype. And not that it is hype, but it's a fantastic introduction. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Bryan, our listeners just love when we just jump right in. So we're going to jump right in. And there's two topics specifically today that I truly believe are going to be beneficial to those of you who are going to jump on and listen to this broadcast. There are some of you out there right now that you're in a season of transition. You are in a season of what? Transition. And in that transition, there are questions, there are opportunities, there are challenges. Listen, transition can be messy. Transition can be difficult. But transition can also open the doors to a life you never dreamed that you could have before. So for those of you that are listening that are in a season of transition, and I'm going to ask this question to you, Bryan, and let you take it away. But I want us to speak to that business owner, that operator, that CEO that currently right now, they have a business, they're operating their business, or maybe they're just in their third eye element where it's all just looking down and they got the operations in place, they got everything in place, and they're able to step back and give that third eye approach to operating their business from the entrepreneur level. And that person is looking to transition into new endeavors. And maybe there's an area of their business where they say, is this an area of my business I want to keep or shut down? How do I put things in place so that my business has stability while I move into this other thing? It's not necessarily that they want to sell, but they want to move to the next area where there's an excitement, where there's opportunity, where there's passion, and they're looking for guidance and direction on that.
Well, Josh, makes me think of a quote from Tom Pantos. He said, growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. And another person said, I don't mind change as long as it doesn't impact me. Well, unfortunately for the business owner, if it's going to change your business, it's going to change you. And so you have to get your head around what that's going to look like. And something that I remember a conversation, and you and I have talked about this. I had with a guy about 10 years ago now, and he wanted to sell his company, and of course, as a business coach, I'm poking and say, why? And he wanted time. I said, so you're really not tired of your business. You just want to free up time. He said, yes. And I said, well, have you considered hiring or developing a general manager, somebody that can run your business for you so that, you can back away from the business? And that's what my dad did. He had a passion for sailing, and for when I was in university, he took the summer off. So my brother and I stayed home and worked, and Dad went off with my younger brother and sister and mother, and they went sailing for the summer. Well, he took that to the next level and had his next boat built, and he ended up sailing 9 months of the year. So he made one of the executives in our company, who was my boss, made him the president of the company, so Dad could, follow his passion. And Peter allowed Dad to do what he wanted without having to sell the company. And so I was asked this guy, I said, would that interest you? He said, yeah, it would. I said, well, you one of two things has to happen then. You either have to have somebody that is so competent that you can just turn your back on it, like my dad did, and because he trusted Peter implicitly, or you have to what I call it's a off-site management skill. So the euphemism I use, so you can manage your business with a laptop and a cell phone from a beach in Tahiti. That's the idea. Using what I call dashboard management. You need to develop some metrics that key performance and key result indicators that you can monitor, and then just have the occasional phone call, and that can run your business. Or move on and sell your business, or downsize your business, or whatever you think is appropriate. But again, I'm going to poke a bit and say, well, because sometimes people get this tunnel vision, say, well, this is what I want to do, and this is how it has to be done. Well, that may be what you want to do, but there may be other ways of doing that you haven't thought of. And so, you need to surround yourself with some people that can, that can help you with that thought process. The danger sometimes of business owners is we tend to keep our own counsel, and of course that's the advantage of a business coach. But if you don't have a business coach, have a mentor, a board of advisors, a really good friend that understands business, that you can bang stuff around. It's good to talk about it outside, especially for those of us that are introverts. We process inside our head, and it's harder to do that. And but it's really a necessary thing to get the best result.
I totally agree with that, Bryan. And it's interesting because you and I have had a lot of conversations, and I noticed in your coaching, you always start with, and you don't necessarily say these words, but this is the way that I receive it, is, what if there's a way to have your cake and eat it too, Josh? Well, what if there's a way for you to get to the goal, but also how you get there opens up some other opportunities where you can maintain and even grow what you got going on. And I notice you always start that way. Do you find that is that like a limiting belief that many business owners have, that they can't have their cake and eat it too, that's impossible?
I think people want to make sense of their world, and so we try to connect the dots as much as we can, but I think sometimes we connect the dots prematurely. And so we think, well, if I'm going to do this, therefore I must. And I'm here to say not necessarily. And it's a little, it can actually be disconcerting to have too many options. And so we tend to almost funnel ourselves into a preconceived way of thinking. And that's where the expression think outside the box, or think outside the funnel, if you will. So there is some value to, getting a different perspective.
Wow, that's powerful. So in thinking of that, like, I know one of the things that I see quite a bit when we talk about transition, when we talk about, business owners that maybe they've had the same thing going on for decades, and now they see something new. What you're saying is they don't necessarily have to close up shop to do this other thing. They can put things in place that allow them to keep what they have going on and also transition to the new thing. And I know one of the objections that are always in the mind of a business owner is, well, I can't afford to bring somebody on to manage everything under me. And it's funny because I heard somebody say this the other day. They've completely changed how they do their hiring. The way they used to hire is they used to hire the people to do the work. And then eventually when they made enough money, they hired the general manager. Now they flipped it. The first person they hire is the general manager. And then that general manager is responsible for hiring everybody else. What's your thought process around that limiting belief around, I can't afford this? Because I know your pushback is always around, well, how can we make more money? How can we bring in more sales? So what's some advice, a way that business owners can frame it differently than maybe we have been, to help bring us to the place that we want to go?
Well, I've had a number of really good mentors, and this Peter that I mentioned was probably my chief mentor in my career. But prior to that, my father set the foundation. And one of the things that my dad always said consistently is, you can never, ever rise above the level of your people. In fact, there's really only, I'll tell you a quick story. I went to see a piece of equipment that we were looking to change suppliers, and actually our vendor arranged for me to go into my main competitor. This was in Indiana, and I said to the president of the company that did the introduction in the conference room, I said, after he said his thing and we were getting ready to go out on the tour, I took him aside and I said, Neil, I really appreciate you allowing us in. In fact, I was kind of surprised. And he looked at me and he said, Bryan, he said, there's only one secret in business, and that's your people. And he said, this equipment, you can see that anywhere. He said, ask anything you want about the equipment. I said, but you're not going to talk to my people. So he understood that. And I was probably, my late 20s when he told me that. So that was really impactful for me. And one could argue, well, that your processes are also a secret. Yeah, but your people make your processes. So hire the best people you can afford, number one. Number two is have a long-term approach to hiring. Part of your HR plan. People talk about having a business plan. Your marketing plan is part of your business plan. HR plan should be part of your business plan, because you want to look at not just what your organizational chart looks like now, what's it going to look like in the future, and how do these people going to fit into that in the future. So you don't have to go and hire a general manager. You hire, somebody that has the ability to become a general manager 5 years from now, and you train them and you pour into them, and how much you disclose what their plan is. It can depend. I remember hiring a lady that worked in our Portland, Maine sales office as an account coordinator. Well, she didn't know it, but I was hiring a customer service manager when I hired her. I didn't tell her at the time, because I wanted to hire her, see how things went, and if she proved to be what I thought she could be, she was going to be my next customer service manager, because that customer service manager was going to be moving to something else, but she didn't know that. And so you want to just think ahead, and it's harder for some than others. I think you and I talked about the time horizon pyramid. 70% of the population can't think past 30 days, and less than 1% of the population can think 5+ years, and the rest of us are in between. So, but that's something, even if you're a 30-day guy or gal, you can become a 6-month or a 1 year or 2 to 5 year person if you work that muscle. If you work at it, you can learn to think ahead farther. And something that's important is, because here's what happens: you go when you hire a person, there there's something called the Peter Principle, which says people inevitably get promoted to their level of incompetency, and I think that's true if left on its own. But if people are mindful of it, it's not necessarily true. But also, a job can grow beyond somebody's capacity. So what can happen? You hire this person, and you're a $300,000 company. Well, then you grow and you grow and you grow. Now you're a $2 million or $5 million company, and that person can't do that job anymore because they could do it when you're 300,000, but the job's outgrown them. Or like you said, we need to hire a manager here at this level. Well, that person's not able to do that. But if we hire the right person back here, we could grow them, and by the time it's ready, we need that manager. They're just ready to step in. And
right.
People are a lot more capable than we give them credit for, but we need to plan it.
You just brought a whole lot of liberation, I think, to some people, Bryan, including myself. Like, just blowing that lie out of the water that it's impossible to be able to think 2 years in advance. That's powerful.
Well, the farther you go, the foggier the crystal ball gets. So you had two things I would say about that. One is, plan things out, but then second, hold your plan loosely because it's going to change. And it's, but when it comes to people, if it comes to equipment and you buy the wrong equipment, that's one thing. But when it comes to people are adjustable. That we don't buy transformers when it comes to equipment. They can't transform into something we should have had, but people can. So we wanted the person to go this direction, and hey, the plan went a little different than we thought. Well, this person can do that instead of this. But if you've invested into people, and an investment is time, and it's also in money. Again, when I became a senior manager, my dad took me aside and he said, Bryan, what something that I've always pushed for my guys, his guys were senior managers. He said, you want to make sure that all your managers have a personal development plan. And I'm not going to sit there and develop somebody's personal development plan. If they're at that level, you tell me what your plan is. And or I'll pressure test it and poke it. And so somebody comes along and says, look, I'm weak in this area. It could be something as simple as, hey, I haven't learned how to do a spreadsheet. Okay. Buy a spreadsheet for dummies, work through it, and then, maybe take an intermediate or advanced course as it comes up. Or somebody else says there's a, something in their industry that they need. Okay, well, we subscribe to a trade journal. That's where you find the courses for our industry. Let's look at that, or go online and find something. But where are you weak? Where are you strong? And let's prop up your weaknesses and capitalize on your strengths. So that's how you build into people. And the other thing is, when that happens, you keep people that way, because when you invest in your people, they say, my boss cares for me. He cares about my career. I've got a future here. And this is an exciting place to be. I'm in on the ground level. And, that's a very positive thing for employees. And so, because you got to remember that, especially today when we have such low unemployment, if when your competitor hires somebody, he's not hiring somebody off the unemployment line. He's hiring somebody that's already working, and he could be working for you. And you don't want to lose that guy or that gal. So you want to keep your employees. You want to keep them engaged. You want to show them the love, and you want to listen to your employees. Somebody once said that listening is so close to loving. When you're doing it, most people can't tell the difference. So listen to what your people are saying and invest in them. Invest with your time and invest with your dollars. And I'll tell you, that's the cheapest money you'll ever spend.
Wow.
Because it's like when you look at the research, I think it's 7 times less effort to upsell with an existing client. It's 5 times less effort to keep a customer than it is to get one.
Yes.
So employees are the same thing.
Yes.
Think of the time it takes to train a new employee, and if you can avert that by not having that person leave you, in business we need to have this understanding of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost says to do one thing, it means there's a cost to doing it as opposed to something else. Simple thing is, okay, I go to the restaurant, or if I order the beef, I don't get to eat the chicken. So my cost of eating the beef is not tasting chicken, and vice versa. Well, the cost of investing, well, what's the alternative? The cost of not investing and losing that employee, that's a way higher cost than the cost of investing a little bit of money in buying, sending somebody on a course once in a while, or having that those conversations with employees so that they know that you care about them and their career and where they're going.
Wow.
I mean, Bryan, I get really passionate about this, Josh, because I strongly believe in this, and it's
yes.
People are the value. You've heard the expression, "Your people are your most valuable asset," and it becomes almost cliche, but it's true.
Yep.
Your people, you have no company. I don't care who you are. You could be, if everybody left Apple, there is no more Apple. If everybody left Amazon, there's no more Amazon. It's your people.
Bryan, I love the passion on this. Like, we could talk about this. There's, and we'll probably go more into this on the next episode, because it's a very, very insightful piece that you're touching on now. And I know we're pressed for time. The last question I want to ask you, there seems to still be this big limiting belief around pricing for small business. And one aspect that I would love for you to touch on, and we were talking about this earlier, is that there are opportunities. A lot of small business owners in our region, in our area, we are considered a more rural area, certainly compared to the bigger urban centers. But my question is around the opportunity, or the missed opportunity, for pricing adjustments to be made when those small businesses are called upon to do work for big corporations out of the big urban centers. I mean, case in point, several years ago, my company of 10 people was asked to do an entire project for a big name, and they're on our website, Home Depot Canada. It's no secret. So, those opportunities come up. What would you say to those people, and how they approach their pricing when it comes to this? And I know we got about 5 minutes, but can you touch on that and the missed opportunity when these things come around? Because they definitely come around. I've seen it time and time and again, and it's such an opportunity. But how do we make sure that we're maximizing that opportunity?
Well, one thing is helpful to understand is what's the fear, and the fear is if I think the market will bear a price increase, but I don't know, and so if I put my price up, am I going to lose all my customers? Well, test it. So if you've got 30 or 40 customers, take 2 or 3, and then try something a little different. And it's like, if you do lose them, well, now and that was the cost of that experiment. But more than likely, it's you might get, it's a spectrum, right? You're on the one hand, you lose it, and the other person, they don't even blink. Well, most people are somewhere in between. They might push. How much do they push back? Especially post COVID, people are almost expecting a price increase. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
I had one client say, "Well, yeah, we, kind of surprised you hadn't. The price didn't go up, and so they're expecting it." All the other,
wow.
It's I understand that. I don't like it, but I get it. Everybody, if you're going to put your price up, this is the time to do it.
Wow.
But again, try it with a couple. And if you don't have any more, okay, it didn't hurt. Those two didn't leave. Let's try another 4 or 5. Well, nothing happened there. Maybe we didn't push it enough.
So let me touch on that then, because, and I want to make sure people are understanding what you're saying, because you're saying you can do it incrementally through testing. And perhaps the fear is that people think, oh, I need to just raise my price across the board all at once, and that's why they never do anything.
I call it thinking digitally. And so when you think digitally, it's black, it's 1 or 0, it's black or white, all or nothing, right? No, think analog. Think hybrid. You don't have to have it all one way.
That's good.
Well, here's another thing is that if you're going to do, by the way, if you're going to try this, try it with your highest hassle account. So if you lose them, you don't really care anyway.
Oh, that's good. That's so good. I like that. I'm taking notes here. I hope you guys are.
Well, in fact, I would try, if you got some high hassle, this is a general principle anyway. If you've got high hassle clients, put your price up to them, because if they kind of push back hard, so it's the cost. And if they leave you, it's a win-win for you. If they leave you, you get less hassle, and you just freed up space for a better client. If they stay with you and they're high hassle, you're paying for the high hassle, man. So if you want a better price, don't be so difficult to get along with. Because my other customers aren't.
Woo! This is so rich. Bryan, you just blew us out of the water with that. That is so powerful and liberating to hear that it's actually so simple. And to your point and what you just said, I'll use your word, analog. I love that. See, it
goes against the digital grain now, I know, but digital thinking will kill you.
This is what I'm speaking about, guys and gals that are listening. This is what I'm speaking about when I talk about the clarity that somebody like Bryan will bring to your business. So if you don't have a coach, if you don't have a mentor, somebody that can speak into your business, give you a different perspective, this is what you're missing. This is absolutely what you're missing, because sometimes the answer is so simple, and think of how much more money you can be making, how much more time you can free up to do the things that you want to do. And it's all on the other side of you investing in yourself, because that's what coaching is. It's investing in yourself so that you can grow. So in turn, everything around you will grow. Bryan, I so appreciate you and your wisdom today. This was a powerful time learning and gleaning from your years of experience. And guys, he isn't retired. He's helping people week in and week out. He's in the trenches with small business owners every single day, helping them out. And he's still involved in a company that is family business as well. So this is the coach you want. He's in the trenches every day. He knows what's going on. He's aware of the trends. He's aware of the market. He can speak into those things. That's who you want. So Bryan, again, I want to thank you, and everybody who's tuning in will tune in, and we will see you guys on the next Business and Marketing Chat. Take care.